Start off with the men traveled 2 weeks ago to Weber State and Idaho State. Played some tough Division I teams. It was good indoor tennis. We competed really hard, competed well. Those D1 athletes are just a little bigger, stronger, a little mentally tougher than we were, but it's a great way to get us ready for some tough competition against the Azusa Pacifics, Midwestern States. We went 0-2, but we had some individual wins. And then last weekend, the guys went down and played Western New Mexico, an old RMAC rival. We lost 2-5, but it was a match that I thought we could have won. Again, right there, a lot of the deuce points now in college. Men's college tennis is unique. We no longer have let serves and no ad scoring, so the play has really speeded up, and we've tried to make some quick adjustments because now we play 6-game sets of doubles instead of 8-game sets of doubles, and then traditional 2 out of 3 sets for singles with no ad scoring. So we were right there again. We did finish up the weekend on a positive note for the men. They beat Metro State in a scrimmage. I think the final score was 4-1. I don't know if Alain got to finish his match, but he was winning. No, you won your match. Yeah. Some other guys didn't get to finish. I think you clinched it for the guys. On the women's side, they started competing last weekend at St. George. 3 big regional matches, even though Cal State is not in the South Central Regional for tennis, and I think for other sports it counts as a regional match. So we had a tough one starting off with Dixie State, lost 2-5, I think. But again, I think Taylor went 3-0 in singles, 3-0 in doubles. We had a lot of close matches again. Could have gone either way. Unfortunately, it seemed like all weekend the mantra was we just barely find a way to lose, or they found a way to win. And we lost 3-4 to Western New Mexico and 3-4 to Cal State. Stanislaus, I think is how you say their name. Stanislaus, I don't know. So that's kind of how I saw the weekend.
Questions?
With no ad scoring, what different mindset once you get to deuce? I mean, got to win that next point instead of, well, I got a couple to play with here.
If I could give my interjection, talking to the Division I teams have been doing this for 10 years, so when we play them, we have to play their rules. And I like to talk to young people just because I'm noisy and I like to talk anyways. But they say you got to play it the same way that what you've been doing. You can't be too conservative. If the guy gets his first serve in men's tennis, first serve, you're just looking to get it back. Second serve, the dynamics have changed. You've got to be aggressive and play the way you've been playing. And Patty, that's I think what's hard for this transition year for us at this level. I mean, this way of playing the scoring is you got to buy in quick, and you sometimes have to make quicker adjustments. Is getting the ball in just good enough? Most of the time, not. But you got to be smart about how you're being offensive and when you're being defensive, if that kind of makes sense. Now, Alain and Taylor may see it a little bit different, or they may not. So, Alain, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I try to focus on the first ball, especially. It's I think the beginning of that point is super important to then try to be aggressive after that. But then, the first ball, I try to focus a lot on that one. That's my main focus on that point.
Yeah. Taylor, kind of the same thing?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I think that especially like this weekend, I had some good chances with the no ad points to go up, 2 or 3 games in the set. And I think you just have to have the mindset like you're up 40-love or 40-15 and just play your game and go for the shots, because you're either going to be mad you didn't go for it or miss it. So as long as you're going for it, I think hopefully they'll go your way.
And usually that's at this level of play, the mentality is I'd rather go for it than just push it in, because pushing it in is not going to work at this level. Taylor made a good thing. We've been on these early trips, we go in vans. Later trips we go in buses, and Coach MacDonald makes us talk about what happened on a 6-hour bus ride home. I don't do it all the way home. I usually wait till we're close to Grand Junction or right after the match, depending on the mindset of the teammates. But Taylor mentioned that she'd read a book by Maria Sharapova. Obviously, the pros are still playing regular scoring tennis, but she says, I just try to be consistent and always hit out. I don't know if you guys ever watched Maria Sharapova. She ain't going to push too many balls in the court. She may lose bad. She may win big. She may win, by small margins, but she likes to have that mindset. I thought that's what you said is You read her book. I just try to be who I am. She's an aggressive tennis player. She's not your typical, I shouldn't say typical women's player, but a lot of women are retrievers. A lot of them are aggressive. Serena is not a pusher. She's going to be aggressive. So that's kind of the mindset we're trying to install in them. We've been doing a lot of drills this year, Patty, too, where it's like 7 points, because that's all the games can be. Or we start out 15-40, 40-15, 15-15. So we're trying to change the mindset. It's just, it's a process. And I think the women's team was disappointed, but I was really happy with the effort. We just didn't come through on some great, on some big points, and the other team did. As determined as we were to win, so was the other team. They, like I told Emily Beckley, Micah Waldberger, I looked over at her, I was like, wow, she's going to win this. The look on her face was determined. Then I looked around and said, oh, well, that young lady's locked in too. At 3-3 in the third set, I was like, this is going to be a dogfight, and it was. And Micah just came up a little bit short on some points. And so I think Kylie Simons had the same thing happen to her, and Rebecca Osterberg and Kristen Kirby in some 3-set losses. It's just like both players are at that point like, they're going to run through the fence to win the point because they know how much it means to their teammates and to themselves.
I think all of our games are there. Like on the women's team, we have really great depth. It's just when we get to those pressure points, who can be that little bit more mentally stronger, I think, because all of our games and shots are there.
Alain, you're one of the more veteran guys on this team.
Mm-hmm.
What have you kind of seen the last 2-3 years that you're kind of taking into the season?
I'm trying to enjoy a lot more the matches. I think that when I go out there thinking that I'm gonna have fun and I'm gonna play good, it happens. I have fun and I play good, and that's what I want. So I'm trying to tell the team to do the same thing. I think when we pressure ourselves too much, we may go out there a little tight and just not play good. So I think that's the main reason or aspect I wanna take in the season.
A little harder this year not having a league and kind of being, we're just kind of.
We're an independent.
out here,
Yeah.
We're an independent. We are playing a schedule, though, Patty, that does give us a chance to make regionals. And even though we had an RMAC men's conference regular season champion and a conference tournament champion, we did not get an automatic qualifier because I think you have to have 6 teams in your conference to get an AQ. So we've been, like Brian Rooks and I were laughing this summer, are we going Pac West? Are we going Lone Star? Dan, you've been an independent for 3 years. You've known this. We've talked about your schedule. You've scheduled, enough Texas teams, enough California teams, enough Western New Mexico teams that if we win, we'll get the at-large bid. There's only one conference that gets an AQ right now on the men's side. So the rest are, and then next year, the Lone Star and the Heartland combined.
Right.
So there's going to be like one conference in our sport for regionals. And the coaches are kind of laughing, like every other region has at least 3 conferences, right, Dave? So it's kind of unique. Well, the NCAA they readjust conferences. I said regionals every 8 to 10 years, I think. So we'll probably look at the Pac West because it's closer for us. But like I tell these senior guys, I do feel sorry for them because they're not, having the chance to compete for like things like Conference Player of the Week or Player of the Year. But it is what it is, and we're going to try to reward them. Some of the other coaches have agreed with me to do a Player of the Week. We're just going to call it Division II Colorado Player of the Week. Alain might get it this week. I can't vote for him. Hopefully the Metro coach will vote for him and the CSU Pueblo coach, but they'll also put their young men in. So, that's the things I think, especially for Lucas Martin and Will Agritelli and who's our other senior? Max. That's disappointing, but that's life. You know what I mean? So we're doing our best. I think this university does a great job for these kids. So sorry if I'm getting a little choked.
Say, Taylor, the week last week was just one of those weeks where everything kind of clicked for you, it looks like.
It was, and I just kind of went into the weekend, it's my senior season, last ever tennis season, which is very bittersweet. I've grown up playing tennis my whole life. And it just kind of clicked. We started off against a really strong team, and it's just one of those days where doubles, we got a good win, 6-4 over Dixie, and then went into singles with just a good mindset, and you just play your game.